What does healing means for you?
Oh, that's a tough question, Jay. Showing up every day and giving yourself enough grace to keep at it. Like something I think that a lot of people don't do anymore is give yourself grace. Like, no, we're not gonna get it right every day. Do you stop building the house because y'all run out of bricks? No. You order some more bricks so you
Mm.
can finish building the house. Keep showing up. That's what healing is. You keep showing up. You may not get it right on Monday. It may change come Friday. You may have a different response. You may learn something on Tuesday that you can use on Friday, but just keep showing up.
Just Heal with Dr. J is going to be a space where we foster healing conversations, conversations that are life enriching, conversations that are going to provoke thought, that's going to provoke change, and also provide insight. And so that's what I'm excited about. Welcome back to another episode with Dr. J, and I am your host, Dr. J. And today I have the opportunity to share space with my baby sister who's deciding to sit and talk with her older brother
Mm.
today at the Healing Community. And she is a LMSW, uh, very, very, very knowledgeable social worker. She does so many great things in the city of Grand Prairie, and I've been inspired by her work. She was the first one to go get her master's in the program, and I was like, you know what? Can't let my baby sister outdo me, so I need to go get a master's too. So anyway, that's how we got there. But anyway, I want to say welcome Priscilla to the
Thank you.
Healing Hub.
Thank
What's
you,
up?
Jessica. What's up with you?
You look nervous.
I'm terrified.
Why are you terrified?
This is your space. You do well doing this.
Yeah,
I like to play in the background.
yeah. But
Yeah.
today you're gonna be in front.
Well, hey,
You look good, girl.
thank you.
What you
I'm
doing?
trying to drink from the water that you're drinking from.
Oh man, the water of peace.
Hallelujah.
Yes,
Nothing like it.
peace and stillness.
Yes.
No drama. No folks slashing tires, follow me around,
Mm.
different things like that. You know.
So that means you're single.
Yes, single, living and thriving. Yes, yes, yes. And this is just brother and sister banter, but we've been talking about doing this episode and about you
Mhm.
coming on and sharing your journey of healing,
Mhm.
your journey of motherhood
Yes.
and a wife.
Yes.
But what I think today is going to be great because you get to share the journey of womanhood.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I'm terrified
like
about
the way
that
I
too.
thread that.
I like
Is
that.
that-
Did you
Yeah.
come up with that
Oh
yourself?
yeah. I'm
That was
I'm brilliant. I'm
lovely.
brilliant in this
That was
space. I'm
lovely.
a Barnett.
That was
Remember that.
lovely. That was
Yeah.
lovely.
So this is you know when you I was gone when you were coming
Finishing high
up.
school. Hmm.
Yeah. And let's start there. Like, you went to Texas W, I mean TW,
Texas Women's
Texas Women,
University.
yeah, TW. And I know you started out with nursing, but
Hmm.
what led you to shifting into wanting to become a social worker?
That's a good question. So initially, like coming up when we were kids, I just knew I was going to be a nurse,
Yeah.
and that was going to be like my niche.
Hmm.
Got into nursing school. Actually started at Texas Women's University nursing program in Dallas, first semester, and immediately said, "This is not for me at all." Um, I met a social worker when I worked at Baylor in Irving, and asked her, "What do you do here?" I worked on the oncology unit, and I saw her in all the rooms and how she interacted with the patients. And I was like, man, I want to do something like that. And she's like, you know what? I know you're in nursing school, but, maybe consider it. And went home that day and I told mom, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do nursing anymore. I think I'm going to do social work. And of course, coming from our background, I figured that who could be more relatable with the individuals that are experiencing struggles and bad news than somebody who's actually
Mm.
been there and can understand what that feels like. And so I changed my major.
So you change your major and you talk about like, how people could react or respond
Mhm.
to bad news.
Mhm.
And starting out in the oncology department, is
Uh-huh,
that correct?
uh-huh.
And these are people that are battling cancer,
Cancer,
correct?
correct.
So is that where you started at?
That's where I started, but, I've worked pretty much in every aspect of social work minus kids, but,
Mhm.
specifically in the NICU. But I never did, like, CPS or anything of that nature. I did a rotation at CPS when I was an undergrad and immediately knew that is not my this is not my strong suit.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why? What happened there?
It's it's a different population that I think only people who don't have a connection to children could work in that arena. But if
Mhm.
you have children of your own, I don't know about other people, but for me, I couldn't make that disconnect and couldn't see myself getting involved with those situations on a daily basis. And,
Yeah.
you know, for CPS, you work around the clock. You're on call all the time, unless it's not your weekend to be on call. And I can't commit to that.
Yeah.
And knowing what kids go through and have to endure, my heart's not wired
Mhm.
like that.
So you start in the oncology department, and you're basically sort of the conduit,
Mm,
as you will, kind of like from doctor to patient.
mhm.
As these individuals are receiving bad news, you're pretty
You're the
much
bridge.
the bridge on not only how they receive it, but how do they manage it. Is
Correct.
that correct?
Correct. That is correct. It's perfectly stated. Yeah.
So what was that like for you to build bridges between the doctor and the patient, and particularly for people who were receiving terminal news?
Surprisingly, it was not as hard as I thought it would be, um, because it's not like I could always put myself in that situation, but I could always say, how would I want someone to treat me, being that I'm on the receiving end? And to this day, I still live by that. I always treat people how I would want to be treated if that were me on the receiving end.
Mhm.
And you have to put yourself in a different mindset because when you're getting bad news and you're already in a tough situation, you got to think that person has a life outside of that hospital setting. And there's no telling what they have going on. So you have to be very smooth in your delivery to them and handle them with care. Like I would want somebody to do that for me, even not knowing me, but just be gentle with
Mm.
handling me.
Yeah,
So it was easy to me
yeah,
because everything that we went through, we didn't really have anybody who gave us that gentle treatment. And so I
yeah,
kind of wanted to give what I didn't see.
yeah. So is that kind of part of what your connection is to being a social worker?
I would say
Is
80%.
giving to others what you didn't
Hmm.
receive?
I would say 80% of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you think about what you didn't receive, if we
Mhm.
can just start there, what, like, if you can talk about two things, and we can start from just the first one that you named, what was the first thing that you give to your clients or patients
Mhm.
that you would have wanted to receive that you're giving to them?
Listening, having someone just to sit and listen to you. Um, it's not that we didn't get that growing up, but it was kind of that mentality like, child stays in child's place. That's it. And growing up, you don't realize how much that impacts your confidence going into young adulthood and how that influences your ability to be present when you go into a room or whether or not you're going to speak up. So I think that was a big part of it. And
Mm.
I didn't have a lot to say, but I knew enough. And you would want somebody to like, okay, what do you think about that? But
Yeah,
nobody ever asked your input. So I wanted people to feel that,
yeah,
even if I didn't agree with what they said, but just to have somebody to listen to me, it makes a world of a difference.
yeah. I think that's too. That's the first part to helping people heal, is
Absolutely.
for people to feel heard.
Absolutely.
And I tell most therapists that I mentor is that until the client feels heard, no healing can begin.
Oh, that's more than enough statement.
Like it won't begin
Hmm.
until that individual feel like they're being heard,
Yeah.
and they feel that you're listening.
Correct.
And I don't think people are looking for somebody to understand them yet.
Mhm.
I think they just have to know that you're going to listen.
Correct.
Because to listen is also to be present with them in that moment.
Yep.
And I think most of us, if we're honest, we've had people that were there but
Mhm.
weren't present.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
Because
exactly what you're saying.
I know for us in our childhood, I think we experienced a lot of them being there, but no one actually being present.
Mhm. I
You know,
agree with that, Jay.
and because until you feel heard, you don't feel seen.
Mm-mm. And you'll go your whole life with that same feeling. And that's what I mean by not having that confidence. Because I think it creates a different type of person when you have somebody who they believe in what you're saying. They believe in your actions and that it it gives you that push that you need.
Yeah,
Same for you.
yeah. How was your confidence affected as a child?
I didn't have any.
Really?
Mm-mm. I didn't have any at all. I don't think I realized it until I got to college. And the first time I noticed it was when y'all left, when you and Candy went to college.
Hmm.
And then it was just me and mom. And I was like, man, what am I supposed to do? And they're gone.
Hmm.
I mean, y'all have been in the house all these years, and now it's just me and mom.
Mm.
So all of that was just out of the window. And it didn't really sit in that I didn't have the confidence until I got to college.
Yeah. And you get to college.
Mm.
What happens that reveals that you don't have confidence?
It wasn't going to school or actually going to classes. It was meeting people and then realizing all of the things that people would experience that I hadn't experienced. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that's what people did or could do, like traveling or just having different life experiences. Mine was not set up that way. Most people were in sports and doing things that they actually loved. 16 to 18, I was working. I had to work to help out at the house. So I didn't know that that was not the ordinary for everybody across the board. That gave me the independence that I needed to, go into adulthood, but I didn't know that that was a thing that typical children would do with having a job and helping out at home
Yeah.
and paying bills.
Yeah. So that was your norm.
That was normal to me.
And you get to college and you like, no, these kids are like they're not working. They
Mhm.
enjoying life. They having, what I'm saying, fun. They're being kids.
Yeah. I don't think you remember, but on the weekends, most of the times when I would leave school, I'd go to work. And I think I'm not sure if you were still in college at the time. I can't remember. But no, you had just graduated. But on the weekends, I would leave on Thursdays or Fridays, depending on what time my class finished, and I'd drive to Irving and go to work
What where were you working at?
at Dillard's.
What?
Uh-huh. I worked Friday, Saturday, and half a shift on Sunday. And after I got off on Sundays, I'd drive back to Denton and get ready for class the next morning.
Man, you was because I didn't know that because I'm not I wasn't home
Uh-huh.
so I didn't have any knowledge of what your process was and then
Mhm.
two what it was for you to navigate because one of the things I'm thinking because you had that experience of going to college because we left I had that experience because I was the first to
To
leave.
leave, correct. That is right.
So for me that confidence was I think for me, my confidence was in my athletic ability. I knew I could
Mhm.
whoop ass. That's
Mhm.
just what it
Mhm.
was. Like that, my confidence was like, man, I'm gonna go out here and go to work. But the lack of confidence is I didn't know who I was.
Boom. That's the major part right there.
And I think when children like we did experience the type of trauma and
Mhm.
experience the type of things that we went through, and then two, the parentification, like, cause it swapped.
It did.
Cause I was a care, sort
Yeah.
of caretaker
Mhm.
for you guys
Correct.
and then all of a sudden I leave and Candy's gone,
Yeah.
and now you're like this caretaker for the entire household.
Correct.
And I gotta ask you, because I've never asked you this before, you know, um, what did that make you feel like, honestly?
Mm, I don't even know if I can put that in words. Uh, Empty.
Mm,
And don't get me to crying. But when y'all left, it was like, what am I supposed to do? Because we were like, we still are the three amigos. Like, we do everything together. And so when you left, I knew I could go to college because you went. One, thank you. And two, I knew I could go to college because Candy went to college. But then I'm like, well, who's gonna be here with mom? Who's gonna, help out around the house? I just felt empty. And so majority of that time, and that was a rough patch when you left and when Candy left. And y'all were in the same area because you were in Stephenville.
mm,
And for a period of time, she was at Ranger. So I don't know if you remember, but y'all would
mm,
carpool on the weekends and come
yeah,
home. And I mean, when y'all would come home, I'm like, oh man, yay, finally. We get to kick it and hang out and kind of get that break because everything was always so heavy at the house because we were having such a hard time.
yeah.
Like it was a tough patch of time there. And I remember it so vividly because everything was always like clustered. Like it was always the
It's like
the
one thing
breaking
after
point.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this
So much
happened,
pressure.
and then once you get through that,
Mm-hmm.
here comes something else.
Something else. Boom.
Oh,
And it was, man, it was like that for like 2, 3 years. And so when it was time for me to go to college, I was like, okay, I know I could do this, but man, what's gonna happen
did
at
you
home?
did you realize did it feel like you got a break when you left home from the
Yes and no.
stress?
Yes and no. Because I mean I still worked and I I did most of my stuff for school. Like, I applied for school myself. I bought my books myself. I was paying for my car myself, paid for my insurance,
So
everything.
you was like a full functioning adult already.
I wouldn't say that, mom. I'm not saying that.
But you
But
were. But you
but
were though.
and she'll tell you, but most of everything that I did, I got it.
Yeah.
I wanted to work for it.
I mean, the truth of it is that I think it's again, it's like the roles not only reverse, but they
Mhm.
swap.
Correct.
Because most kids that are usually the babies are not as independent as the older.
That's true.
You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
So that's what I'm saying. I think you swapped from it went from me being very independent,
Mhm.
and my independence. I didn't feel like it was forced. It just
Mm-mm.
was
It just
natural.
happened. Yeah.
It was natural
Yeah.
for me. But in some ways, the more I've talked to you, because I was gone for a while, and so
Mhm.
I didn't get to move with life with you guys as
Mhm.
y'all was moving through y'all
Correct.
20s and
Correct.
things. So in, I came back, and you guys are like in your 30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Just about.
you know what I'm saying? So you in your 30s. So you got kids now,
Yeah.
and you've had, the womanhood,
Correct.
and you've had the motherhood, and
Correct.
then you've had the wifehood. So you've had all the hoods. You
All
know
the
what I mean?
hoods.
You know what I'm saying? So and and as I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, it's almost like you went on this journey
Mhm.
alone
Mhm.
to discover
Mhm.
not only your confidence, but to discover you, because there wasn't no
Mm-mm. There wasn't a blueprint,
exactly.
and the blueprints that we had were, and I don't like the word dysfunctional, so I'll say unhealthy. They were unhealthy, and when I tried to use that blueprint, it didn't work for me
Mm,
in so many different areas of my life. And I didn't really have anybody to talk to about certain things because certain stages of life, like you said, we were so different on. Because, I'm getting married at 22, and you're like, child, ain't no way, I'm getting married at that age.
yeah,
And having a kid, then having 2 kids, then having 3 kids. It was different. And
yeah,
then we didn't see a relationship. that lasted throughout the years.
Mm.
So there wasn't really anybody to look to for that advice and that guidance.
So you pretty much feel like did a lot of discovering on your own,
Mhm.
just kind of by yourself.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes sense now when you say, man, I felt empty because if I'm empty, there's a state of loneliness that
Yeah,
is attached to that emptiness.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Then you get married at 22.
Mhm.
Why did I not have to ask you because I've never asked you this
You
for
have
the
it.
why did you get married at 22?
Well, one thing I knew from our upbringing, um, I didn't want a lot of relationships. One, two, I did not want um, to have children by multiple men. I knew that, and I didn't want to choose somebody that I knew wouldn't want to stick it out with me. I knew those things.
Mm,
Now, I didn't know what any of that looked like,
mm.
and I didn't know the requirements beyond loving somebody. That's all I had. And when my husband and I met, we just knew we loved each other. And hey, we was gonna be together. That's all.
Man,
That's it.
but how do y'all know they're 22 though?
That's a good question, Jay. I don't know if I thought about that before. But I knew that he had something that I had never seen.
What was that?
Love. And that he loved me, regardless of what I didn't have.
But how did you know that though? 22,
How he treated me.
oh, okay, yeah, that's
Mhm.
fine.
It wasn't about money because we was broke. We didn't have any
But
money.
but 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 no 22-year-old has money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just for the
Nowadays,
listeners,
apparently everybody does, but hey,
they
it's
don't.
neither here nor there. Um, but I knew that that's what I wanted.
So you said you knew he loved you by the way he treated you.
Mhm.
And how did he treat you?
He handled me with care. He
Mm,
was gentle. He listened, and he didn't listen to everything. So let's get that right.
who does?
And honey, I love you, but he didn't listen to everything, and neither did I. But we were determined to work, and we did not want to repeat what we saw. And his mom and dad were married a long time. Our parents were married a long time. But we knew that okay, those two blueprints are not gonna work. We got to create a different path for ourselves. And that's what we did.
So I want to, for the people that are listening, I love what you said. He handled you with care,
Hmm.
and I think that it's important if the individual that you're connected to, you have to identify not only the care that you need, but identify if they have the ability or the capacity to give that care.
That's good.
You have to, because I think with that care, it also reveals that person's ability to listen.
Hmm.
Because I cannot listen,
Hmm.
or should I say, I cannot care
Hmm.
if I'm not listening.
And can I tell you, I had to learn that in our 20s. We went to therapy for 2.5, almost 3 years, about
Together
to
or
separate and together.
separate. So you
Initially,
guys were going to therapy separately in your
correct,
20s.
correct.
Wow.
Initially, we started separately, and then we started going together. And we went faithfully for probably 2.5 years.
Wow.
Because it was
I didn't know this.
because there was we had a really rough patch. And what I was saying about learning how to listen, I didn't know that. I didn't learn that. I thought all the problems was with him. I didn't think anything was wrong with me. And I know a lot of women are like that, and I love women. I support women to the fullest, but I also know what struggle I had. And my struggle was listening and thinking I'm right all the time and not considering his feelings on things. And just as much as women want to be heard, men want to be heard as well.
Absolutely.
And they don't say that a lot because they're not emotional how we are.
Yeah.
But that's what I had to learn, and therapy taught me that. And so even though we went to therapy over 10 years ago, we still use those same tools in therapy to this day when we're communicating with each other.
Wow. That's so healthy. And I'm glad that you said that because I do think we're just as emotional as
Mhm.
women. It's just expressed differently.
Uh-huh. I agree with that.
It's expressed differently,
I
and I
completely
think
agree.
our inability
Yes.
to express
Yes.
emotionally
Mhm.
and to express how we feel
Yes.
is you only see the expression
Correct.
of anger,
Absolutely.
and anger unprocessed becomes rage.
Mhm.
And when you have rage and it's displaced rage, you're unpredictable.
Mm. That was a
I,
bar.
I cannot trust you if your rage is displaced and it's unpredictable. And this is why I tell people it's dangerous to be around people who do not know that they're angry.
Absolutely.
See, when you know that you're angry,
Mhm.
you're able to feel that.
Correct.
I watch a lot of men who don't know that they're angry. They know they're mad,
Yes. It's two
but
different
they don't
things.
understand that it's sadness,
Yes, sir.
it's abandonment,
Yeah.
it's disappointment,
Yeah.
it's discouragement,
Mm.
it's the loss of hope.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I know for me, when dad and mom divorced,
Mhm.
that is what I felt.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I realized, yeah, you're angry, but
Mm.
what the real issue
You're
is
sad.
you're disappointed.
Yeah. That didn't work out.
You're disappointed because you thought dad should have been there for you and
Yeah.
he wasn't.
Absolutely, Jay.
And the way that it is expressed is
Mhm.
also the way that it hasn't been processed.
Yep. That's
So
real.
somebody calls you out on something, and
Mhm.
because you have not been fathered well, you are triggered.
That part. Yep. That part. That was a huge part of my healing when I was in therapy is, I remember sitting down and her name was Misty. Love Misty wherever she is in life now. But I remember sitting down and I'm, like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm here because it's his fault. He's put us in this situation. It's all his fault. And she says, well, I want you to come back, next week or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what time I get back next week? And I'm by myself that time.
Mm.
And starts unpeeling all of these things. And then immediately it goes back to the divorce. It goes back to how I processed everything. It goes back to why I ultimately don't want to listen to what he has to say. And there was all of these things that I didn't even think
Oh,
were connected.
oh, yeah. I, I, yeah, CJ will appreciate this because I talked to CJ during my interviews.
Uh-huh.
Um, for those that are listening, because one lady told me, "Can you stop having side conversations?" No, CJ and I have to talk, and there's times when we're in interviews, I can feel him,
Mm-hmm.
and what you just said is, I think a lot of women need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's not that you can't hear the man,
Mm-hmm.
it's your reasonings for not wanting to
Correct.
listen to him.
Correct.
Ooh.
I think we've had this conversation before. And I've told you this because I speak very openly with you about what I think women can do better. We have those conversations all the time, and you always say, "Man, see, that's why I like talking to you because you go tell the truth."
Because Priscilla is a brother I've always wanted. That's what this really is about. And my mother lied to me. Mother, I'm telling the world, you told a lie to
She
me.
said I was a boy.
My mother told me that she was a boy when they brought her home because I
Mhm.
wanted a little brother so bad. They told me she was a boy. And so they had her. I remember when they brought you home from the hospital, they had her, mama had on a green jogging suit.
Mhm.
That's how vivid my memory is at 5. Because I was 5 when you were
Mhm.
born.
That's true.
And mama had on a green jogging suit with some white tennis shoes, and she was, had you, on her knee, and your head was turned.
Mhm.
And so I couldn't see with the back. And I walked up, I said, "Oh, look at the little baby." And they was like, "Yeah, come say hello." And nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything.
And they picked you up and turned you
It's a
around.
girl.
I said, "That's a girl." Shattered me. Shattered me,
Yeah.
man. shattered me.
And to
So
this day, you still treat me like the little brother you never had.
again, you see a woman, I see a man.
That's terrible.
But the world we live in allows that. So you could be anything you want to be. But I'm saying that because because we have a unique relationship because you're so balanced in your thinking.
Mm.
And I think you have the balance in your thinking because you began therapy early
Mhm.
before I did,
Yeah.
and all of the stuff that we went through and what it manifested, and for those that are watching, like parents, divorce impacts children in ways that you couldn't imagine.
Absolutely.
And it's not just the separation; it's the model that
Mhm.
becomes a very fragmented dyad
Yep.
for us as
Yep.
children.
Yep.
Because our brain understands this system, but it
Yes.
doesn't understand when
Correct.
the system is broken.
Correct.
And somebody is saying, hey, you're going to go live here and you're going to go to
Mhm.
live there. Kids' brains don't understand that.
Correct.
Now, their brains does has the ability to adjust because they still in their formidable stage.
Correct.
So you can kind of mold and shape,
Correct.
but emotionally,
That part, because it takes you back to the stay in a child's place. Because if you have input about it, you shouldn't be in mom and dad's relationship. You shouldn't know what's going on. But in my opinion, it should be the exact opposite. You should be having the conversation as to, okay, here's what happened, y'all. We're going to decide to part our ways. Here's why. Has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with you. I feel like that would have made a world of a difference with everything. But there was never a conversation. Everything happened and then that was it. It's like the bottom dropped out, the rug was pulled,
yeah.
and then you're left to just continue with life.
I still remember that day. You remember that
I
day?
remember that day. I
Remember
do.
dad
I
called
can
us and
remember the smell in the room. Yeah. I can remember the smell in the room.
wow,
Absolutely. Absolutely. If that smell comes across my nose right now, it will put me right back in that moment.
man.
Mhm.
I don't remember the smell. I just remember daddy calling us in and said,
Mhm.
we need to talk to y'all. And it was very brash.
Yeah.
It's very brash. And it's like there wasn't any prompting
Mm-mm.
or any sort of kind of like precursor,
Mm-mm.
kind of like,
Mm-mm.
yeah, kind of,
Set the tone.
yeah, none of that.
Yeah.
Which is why in everything that I do, I'm very careful about
Mhm.
tone.
Yep.
And I'm always careful about how I set things up,
Yep.
which is the way I speak. Is
Mhm.
I speak according to what, again, going back to what you said earlier about what we didn't get.
Correct.
It
Correct.
was just like, you need to talk. Me and your mama getting a divorce.
And guess what the biggest thing in my relationship is?
What?
My husband will tell you. It's tone. If the tone is off, my ears are off. Same thing. The connectedness of everything is mind blowing to me. But we don't realize any of that until we get into life. You're deep into life. And nobody tells you how all of those things are connected.
Yeah. Well, I say this: the adults stand at the altar and
Mhm.
exchange the vows,
Yeah, it's the children
but
making the
it is the
decisions. Yeah.
kids who have to keep them.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is the kids who have to keep the vow. It is
Mhm.
your little boy and it is your little girl that
Absolutely.
have to keep these vows.
I couldn't agree
The
with that more.
adults say, I do.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you take this to be your lawful wedded husband, wife, to cherish the
Mhm.
whole, da da da, to death do you part?
Yeah.
The adults are sitting there saying, I do. And the kids are saying, like hell,
And those are those same kids that will butt heads for years and years and years, never really acknowledging or being able to acknowledge what the real problem is.
you know. You know, when I think about this, I'm just like, man, I could step into the room. And for you, it was listening. For me, it was understanding.
I could see that. I could see that.
Because I think being the oldest,
Mhm.
the feeling of like, man, everybody's looking for me to step up.
Correct. And not necessarily just step up, but carry. carry everything. Like I remember you being in college and still having to pay
Pay,
certain things.
yeah,
Yeah.
pay bills, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
paying rent.
Yeah. I
I,
remember
I
that.
I remember taking my scholarship check
I
and giving
remember.
mama $860.
I remember.
I remember I could see myself counting out the $860.
Mm,
And I'm saying to myself, this is crazy.
I remember.
Like I'm 18 years old
Mm-hmm.
paying $860. And I'm sitting there like, and you don't think about it because in that moment,
Mm-mm.
it's like I have to do this.
Yeah, just like
And
I said, it was ordinary
it was
for
normal.
us. Yeah.
And not that I didn't want to, but I never got to be a kid.
Correct. Correct.
And that's why for me, at this stage, I didn't realize this until like recently that I look for joy in the simplest of
Mm-hmm.
things. Because when I think about a kid playing, it's always the
Carefree.
simplest of
Yeah.
things where it's just like you just running up and down the road and it's
Yeah.
just like it's the most fun you ever had.
Yeah.
And it's
Carefree.
like I didn't get a chance to do that because I was so focused on I gotta be there for y'all
Mm-hmm. I gotta make it.
and gotta
Gotta
make
make
it.
it.
And then too, you become an adult and then you come to the realization while you're having trouble to self-actualize
Correct.
things, you're like, I can't freaking do it
Yeah.
because I never got to go through the stages of development.
Yes.
So now I
Yes.
have an arrested development
Correct. That's real.
and I'm trying to function in something that I never understood the genesis of.
Yeah. Oh, that's real.
And that was my challenge because I'm like, man, like today, like I love the smallest things like joy. Like I was walking, I saw a flower swaying from side to side. I said, look at that flower dancing. Like it was
I
just,
love that for you.
for real.
I
Like
do.
I was just like, and I was just like, man, that thing, no, because the wind was just swaying that
Just
thing.
tearing it up.
And it hit me because oftentimes as humans,
Mm-hmm.
we're so overwhelmed with our trauma. We're so overwhelmed with the pressures of life
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to appreciate the simplest of things.
Yep.
And in that moment, it was like I was just at a concert watching this flower perform.
I love that for you
And
though.
I smiled because I was like, man, this is really like, I'm entertained.
I love that.
And it brought me back to the little boy because I'm like, man, I remember those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you honestly, what really is challenging for me about aging,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even I'm getting older.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it is the distance between childhood.
I got you. Yeah. Because almost you still have that feeling of, man, I don't want to grow up. Yeah. I get
I
it.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to grow up. And not that I don't want to grow up because it's like it's not Peter Pan syndrome. It's
Yeah.
not that. I'm, you know, like I'm not climbing trees, but it's it's the be bewilderment
Correct.
of just like,
Correct.
man, this is who I was
Yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah.
The joy and just
The freedom.
the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why freedom is so big to me
Yeah.
in relationships, in business, and partnership, even in what I do. Before I make any deal, I'm always looking if there's freedom in it. If
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm going to be in a prison or if
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm going to
Let's do it.
be restricted, I'm not interested.
I love that.
I'm not interested. Anything that takes away my full ability to be my
Mm-hmm.
full self, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not interested in it.
I love that.
And and all of it is attached to our childhood because
Mhm.
we were kids of pastors.
Yes.
So fun for us was playing church.
Yeah. Play church all the time, all day.
And then playing church was also part of like just kind of like the reality of like this is our life
Mm-hmm.
and
That's what we
anything
know.
outside of church is a sin.
Correct.
So it's like I want to ride my bike and put, a paper bag in the back of the tire so it sounds like a
Motorcycle.
motorcycle. All those things. I still remember those things and not feel like, well, that's the devil.
Mm-hmm. Music.
music
And
and
you
all
know,
of those
my
things.
connection with music, I love music.
Why you love music so much?
Love
I never
music.
knew that.
You know what? Funny. I don't know if you remember this, but you came home from college one time and you got a CD burned, and I think it was chopped and screwed. And my connection with music wasn't just like with music, but it's like with my siblings, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like even with Candy singing, you know. Um, but it was always that connection. I'm like, okay, this is home, this is family. So that's always been my connection with music. And when y'all left, like that's all I did. You don't remember I asked for the it was like a boom box then.
Oh
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
asked for the boom box for my birthday
yeah, yeah. I
and
remember that.
you got me that boom box and mom used to be so mad at me, but I would just be blasting music in that room all day. But it's always been a connection, just kind of keeps me grounded at home.
Yeah. Motherhood.
Mm,
You have 3 kids,
yes.
and you have an amazing daughter that's on the spectrum.
Yes.
What has motherhood been like for you as you were giving your children something that you didn't have? Do you feel like some parts of that brought healing to you?
You know what? Um, I say the main thing that I got from mom was the ability to be present and not just be present, but teach. So I make it a point with the kids to always teach them something and be honest with them. Um, I know mom probably wouldn't agree with this, but she doesn't like always how honest I am with them. Like I tell them when things are not great, or I tell them when things are not the best. If I'm not in a good mood, if I'm not feeling well, I like to communicate that with them so that they could have open dialogue with me. And I feel like with Aria being on the spectrum, that really helps with telling her how I feel so that she can in turn tell me how she feels, even if I don't agree with it. And that's for all the kids, not just her. But um, I know for us, we talked a lot with me, you, mom, and Candy. We talked a lot. So I always wanted to let my kids know that communication is like the biggest thing. So there was one thing for Aria when she was diagnosed was her speech because she was 2.5, almost 3 roughly when we realized that there was something just, not right. And when we got the autism diagnosis, that was one of her main things was her ability to communicate. And she was verbal, but everything was like a word salad. So it was just jumbled up. And so the more and more she did speech, the more and more we talked to her and not so much forced her to talk, but put her in situations where she had no choice but to communicate what you want or what you need. It
Mm.
made the world of a difference. Like leaps and bounds from where she came from to now being 11 and completely verbal. She does all of her routines in the morning. You you've seen her routines. She she likes her stuff a certain way, but she's such a pure heart. Like you can't help but, notice her when she walks into a room.
As a mother and who was once a daughter,
Mhm.
did that heal some parts of you
Oh man,
navigating?
absolutely. Absolutely. Cuz I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So I wanted to do motherhood well. I wanted to do a good job. I want them to grow up and be like, oh man, man, my mom did everything she could. And I don't feel like I spoiled them or anything, but I want them to know that I was here. And when you go out into the world, I want them to know, like, hey, man, her mom must have really been involved. Look at her. Like that's what I want to exude. If I don't do anything else in life, I want to make sure I do my motherhood job and my wifehood job.
No.
Those are important to me.
Now, balancing all of that,
Yeah. Mm,
it's crazy work.
crazy work. Crazy work.
How do you do it the way that you do it? What is important to you as a mother, as a wife, and as a woman? If you can answer those three questions,
Okay,
because
that's a
this,
loaded question.
yeah, because this month, we're talking to all women, and so I'm really wanting women to walk away with something that may be in those three
Hmm.
categories, or they may be in two, or they may be in one.
Well, I'll start by saying what changed over the years. So when I was younger, um, my priorities were a bit backwards. You know, it was always God first, but I thought that the kids came second because they were small. And of course, they needed more from you. And going to therapy, I learned that that was a little backwards. And so the older I got, the more I understood, okay, there has to be a balance. I couldn't get the balance right. I could not figure it out. In my early 30s, I could not figure it out. I was probably completely terrible at it. I'm not gonna lie. I would say probably in the past 5 years is when I've actually gotten it. And it took a lot of trial and error, a lot of trial and error. And God bless my husband, because it was a lot of talking from him too, and telling me, you know, I don't need you over here. I really need you over here. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why? It wasn't registering for me. But what I've learned is that the kids get to a stage in their life where they need teaching and they need nurturing. The kids, when they're younger, they need to be nurtured.
Right.
Okay. That comes from mom. They're in the stage of teaching now. And so dad gets to do a lot of that. And then I don't necessarily take the back seat, but I get to have a little bit more of a breathing
You
room.
have a little more margin.
Get to have a little bit of breathing room. And I learned the work balance, the relationship, the kids, and then taking care of myself. That was all hard. Cause in the past 6 months, I've been in the gym heavy, trying to get back on my routine of taking care of myself. Like I would always make an excuse like I don't have time, I don't have time. All the while, it was just finding the balance for everything. And I have time. I do. I just have to create the time and create the space for myself, for whatever the kids need, for whatever he needs. It's it's a balancing act, but it's doable.
Right.
And I always say that God structured women a certain way because we do very well with balancing certain things. You just don't have to pick up everything all on the same day.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
No. Well, and I think too, right, it's I think it's also a part of understanding what goes first.
Correct.
And I think what I'm often telling mothers in therapy that I've worked with is that if the woman is not well,
Mm,
the wife or the mother won't be good.
no, not at all.
And I think the message is what I'm hearing you say to every mother and to every wife is that you have to be first priority.
Absolutely.
Like you have to be.
Absolutely.
Because if this ship goes
Hmm.
down because the captain fell asleep,
Hmm.
then we have to ask, did the captain have too much on their plate?
Yeah.
Did the captain have a co-captain?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for all, and I'm often telling mothers that you were a woman before you gave birth.
Correct.
You were a woman before before you gave your last name,
Mm.
if you did, because some of the folks are, this is a different world.
Don't
Like,
get into
they
that.
like, I'm hyphenating, I'm not taking his last name.
Don't get into
Blessings
that.
to you. But, but, you were a woman before you
Hmm.
took on these other
Correct.
identities, right? Because
Mhm.
even motherhood is an identity.
It is. It is.
And if you're not careful, you'll lose yourself in motherhood and miss out on who you were supposed to become as a
Hmm.
woman,
I was one of those women. And
you know?
that's a daily battle. It's a daily battle. But I make it a point to tell my kids, and people may disagree with this, but I do tell them, before you guys came along, I was a woman. And so here's what I'm going to do today to take care of myself. I will be back in an hour and a half. I'm going to the gym. Everything stops. I'm okay now with not having my hand in every single thing.
That part.
Sometimes it's okay to say no and step back. If the man wants to do something, go ahead. It's okay. Like, yeah, he may not wash the dishes the way you want them washed. He may not put them away. May not even put the laundry up, but it gets washed. It's in the dryer. It's okay. Everything doesn't have to be prestige every single day. And I can't be 100% in all categories every day.
Yeah.
That's what I've had to learn. Some days I'm 80 in the wife category. Some days I'm 25 in the mother category. Some days I'm 100% and just taking care of myself. It varies.
Yeah.
But it's okay for me not to have my hand in every single thing. Cuz when am I going to take care of myself if my hand is everywhere else?
Yeah. And particularly for, you know, mothers who are soon to be empty nesters.
Mm,
And I've seen so much change with them because for them, it's like, man, I have been a mother for the past 18 years,
mhm.
and I am like, no,
Yeah,
this can't end
yeah,
because my identity
is
and
what
who
your
I
children.
am is tied to being a mom. Little Jimmy needs me. Little
Mhm.
Dara needs me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, I have to take Sarah here, and Sarah's able to drive herself
yeah,
now. And I think it's important. This goes for both mothers and fathers. We have to understand that there are callings that you
yes,
have, there are dreams that you have, there are
correct,
visions that you have. I'm
correct.
often telling people in therapy, I know that you have kids,
Mhm.
but go after that thing.
Correct.
I think I don't think it's good for parents to stop dreaming.
No,
And I
it's
feel like
true.
so many do because they feel like, man, I can't now. And you may not be able to put all of you in,
Correct,
but if you can start somewhere and make
correct,
small deposits.
correct. It
And I
makes a
think
world
that
of a difference.
brings a sense of fulfillment to you as a man or a woman
Yes.
rather than just as a mother or father. Because what if the child grows up and they don't say thank you?
Mhm.
What if they get the award and they don't say, it was my mom or dad that
That's real.
encouraged me?
That's real.
And what if it was my coach and then mom or dad?
Mm.
Are you upset that you're second on the list? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if this is about pushing and promoting
Mhm.
and encouraging
Mhm.
and sending out children who would give back to the community
Correct.
that would contribute to society,
Correct.
then you have to question that for yourself.
Correct.
That okay. And that's the thing when people ask me about kids, y'all. And I thank God that my sister don't harass me. Candy
We can
harass me more than anybody, but don't harass me again with the whole kids thing. Like the one thing that I appreciate about me and my sisters is that I went on my own journey. And there were times that I felt like I wasn't part of the secret society of marriage and kids and all those different things.
Mhm.
But I also understood that God had called me to something different.
Correct.
And understanding that He called me to something different, it was going to require different from me
Mhm.
because I can't move about
No.
if I had kids. And I
No,
wouldn't.
sir. No, sir.
Like people always ask me, like, so what would you do if you had kids? Like, stop. You stop. That's what I do. Stop traveling. Like, I don't like, I'm not tied to this. If I got married tomorrow and started building a family, I'm okay with not being on the road. I
Mhm.
would be at peace being at home with my wife. And she's like, hey, can you not go 8 times a month? Can you go three? Okay,
Mhm.
cool. I wouldn't have a problem with that because I found me first.
Boom.
And
That's
I
the
found my
difference.
purpose first
There you go.
before finding a spouse
Yeah.
and then trying to pull all of
Navigate.
my joy and fulfillment out of my
Yes.
wife and my
Yes.
kids. And now I got a little boy that I'm watching every day at practice, and he's 3
Mhm.
because I want him to be the next me. Because you gotta go. Like I
Mm-mm.
don't understand that,
Mm-mm.
and so I love that you created that healthy balance and that you started doing for you.
Yes. That was, yeah. It took a long time to get to that point, but
You know,
it's necessary.
in closing, you were 8, I think, when mom and dad divorced.
9.
Okay, 9, yeah, 9. What would 30, what you 37, 38?
38.
38.
Mhm.
What would 38 Priscilla say to 9-year-old Priscilla?
It's gonna be okay. And you don't have to be what you came from.
Mm,
And It's okay, and it's not your fault. There would have been those words from the people that probably meant the most coming from them would have like changed everything had those words came from those people,
Yeah,
hands down.
yeah.
But yeah,
How often do you think about the little girl? Because I remember when you were just like trying to figure it out.
every day, every day. I stand in the house now because we built our house in end of 2020, going into 2021, moved in. I stand in the house to this day and just in disbelief. Like I don't believe it's mine. I don't. Of course, you pay the bank for it, but but I don't believe it. Still,
Hmm.
I don't believe it. It's 16 years married this year, October.
Y'all been married 16 years?
16 years
Wow.
and been together for it'll just made 19. But like if you would have told me that from our story,
Yeah,
I would have said, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But I know God is able, one. And then two, if we asked for the tools and want to actually use them, He will give them to us.
yeah.
But sometimes a lot of people they don't want to do that work,
No, it's deep.
and they don't want to take the ownership
Yeah,
for the shortcomings or the things that they're they're the reason that it did not work.
yeah,
So I wanted to be I want to be different in that sense.
yeah,
And I'm glad that my husband wanted the same
yeah,
because we have
yeah,
very similar history.
yeah. What does healing means for you?
Oh, that's a tough question, Jay. Showing up every day and giving yourself enough grace to keep at it. Like something I think that a lot of people don't do anymore is give yourself grace. Like, no, we're not gonna get it right every day. Do you stop building the house because y'all run out of bricks? No. You order some more bricks so you
Mm,
can finish building the house. Keep showing up. That's what healing is. You keep showing up. You may not get it right on Monday. It may change come Friday. You may have a different response. You may learn something on Tuesday that you can use on Friday. But just keep showing up. And I'm making it a point every single day to keep showing up and being intentional.
that's good. That's good. I like that because that's kind of what I live by. Like
Hmm.
I live by keep showing up, keep being available for
Hmm.
what may be present.
Correct.
You
Correct.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think healing is not linear. So I
Hmm.
think there's different pathways. And of course, we know that there are different modalities
Hmm.
and different ways to heal, whether it's therapy, whether it's through sound baths, yoga,
Yeah.
and all of these different
Hmm.
other things that people use. But I think for me, it's always been keep being available
Yes.
for what may be present
Yes.
because it may be present in the transaction
Correct.
of passing
Yes.
somebody
Yes.
by the store. I remember CJ and I, we were in Canada and we're talking to this blind guy. I have to tell you guys this story. It is hilarious. We're talking to a blind man who has a stick
Uh-huh.
and has a shade. And we're talking to him because it's like, okay, this dude's blind. And he turns around and looks at us. I was like, oh. And we had this full conversation. It's a hilarious story, but the message in it was that he said, if we really give attention to humanity
Hmm.
and who we are as people, we're not any different from each other.
No, we're not. And you know that by both the degrees that you have because you had to study that and studying why we think the way that we do. Everybody's interconnected. We all are.
Yeah. And in that moment, like I experienced healing with this guy
Hmm.
because I'm like, he's blind. And in this, it's like, wow, he still had enough in him to have a conversation with us.
Yeah.
And he could tell that we were Black too.
Right.
And yeah, it was a powerful conversation. And saying that because when you are available, you can receive
So
what's present.
so true.
Was present. And what I'm hoping that people take away from our discussion today, you didn't cry, so you got tissue.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
So she begged me not to make her cry, so I wanted to honor that as the oldest and as the brother of a brother. Let me stop because I don't want these folks to come for me. And we're just joking, people. We're just joking. I see her as a woman. This is my little sister, but for those of you that are struggling because you say, Dr. J, man, I'm tired. And I know it's tiresome because showing up takes work, it takes effort. Showing up takes energy. No one talks about the energy it takes to show up and how you have to muster that energy together. But what I want to say to you is that you are worthy of showing up for yourself. And I hope that you continue to do that. And remember, until next time, healing is a journey and wholeness is the destination.